All right. All right, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy Cam back again with another video here from Grappler's Graveyard. This time I have my trusty grappling dummy, Jerry. If you guys don't know, I love Rick and Morty, so I named my grappling dummy the dummy from the dummy of the show. But without further ado, we're going to be talking about side control today. It's going to be one of the most basic and most fundamental positions that you're going to find yourself in. We wrote an article on our blog that you can ultimately read through if you ultimately like learning through reading. But I thought that I'd come on here and demonstrate on Jerry some of the key points to kind of pay attention to when it does come down to side control and the position that you yourself are going to find yourself in, I don't know, 40 or 50% of the time. But before we jump into it, I wanted to let you guys know that our Rashguards are live. That'll also be in the description. You can go ahead and shop and grab one of these bad boys, ultimately, if you feel inclined to do so. I think they look sick. I've sent them out to a couple of people, and they love them. I love wearing them, so hopefully you love wearing them as well, just as much as I do. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into this video. Okay, so again, like I said, side control is one of those positions that you're just going to find yourself in pretty much from day one. I wanted to make this video because I don't necessarily think that my gym really hones in on the super simple basics that are really important for anybody that wants to develop in the sport or in the martial art. So what is side control, right? Side control is having, obviously, control of your opponent from the side. Now, there's some major points of contact on the body that you really want to focus on when it comes down to getting side control. Obviously, Jerry can't do anything. He's not a human, so he's not going to be able to react to me like a human would. But let's pretend that ultimately he is, and he will. So side control really starts with you being able to have your arm, your forearm, behind this person's head. What I like to do is focus right here on this armpit on the opposite side of where my body is. If you can cup and get underneath this armpit right here, ultimately you're going to be able to build a really strong position and control your opponent in ways that ultimately end up making it pretty miserable for them on the floor. So if you've ever been stuck in side control, right, somebody that has a really good side control or just has really good control in general, it just makes your life miserable. I'll talk a little bit more about how to do that and how to effectively do it progressively. But nonetheless, you want to start with having this arm underneath the head, cupping underneath this shoulder. Now, something that I learned recently from a coach is that the second most important points of contact on body when you are on the ground or if you're trying to pass someone's guard or get somebody in a position where you control them really well is this inside real estate right here on the outside parts of your hips. If you can control these parts, and even if you're on the side, even if you're the person on bottom, if you can occupy this space on the inside or the outside of your hips on bottom, that's the prime real estate that you want to be able to protect. So when you're keeping that in mind for side control, right, you have your arm underneath here, cupping underneath the armpit right here. Your knee should be glued to this hip right here, controlling that point of real estate, right? So when you really have side control very strongly, right, you're able to pull your lat and get this person a little bit more on your shoulder. You can cup and control this side of the arm, and then you can get into really more advantageous positions, right, like knee on belly. You can go on mount. You can go and attack the subs. You can go for locks, Americanas, Kimuras, the whole nine, right? There's a lot that you can do when you effectively do it. But when you are in side control, you really want to make sure that controlling this inside hip or this outside part of the hip right here is your main priority, right? Obviously, as well as keeping this arm underneath. But like we know, in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it's not always going to be hunky-dory and things aren't always going to be perfect. So what you just really want to focus on, right, again, cupping this arm, is just not necessarily, like there's ways to apply pressure and to really make this person feel your weight. And it's something that has to be learned over time. I didn't know how to do it for a really long time, but I feel like I've definitely gotten some principles down that obviously I'm going to share here. So inside control specifically, right? What I like to imagine is that I have like a pole sticking perpendicular straight through my chest, right through my back. And as I'm walking and turning, that pole also sticks with me. So when I am in side control, right, that pole is sticking straight up, if you can imagine. And what you want to do is be able to push your chest and apply pressure from your chest directly down into this person putting your weight on there. How you do that ultimately requires some flexibility as well as some muscle memory that you have to build up for yourself. When I say flexibility, I mainly mean in your groin right here, because obviously Jerry is not proportional to a real human, right? Some people are going to be shorter, some people are going to be longer. So to really get your pressure in, you have to be able to keep your base wide, control this hip, and really, again, imagine that pole sticking straight from your back and pushing down with your chest, right? You'll feel it in your groin, so stretching your groin in a lot of ways will help you, build a stronger position in side control, in my personal opinion. But the main thing here is that when you are in side control, to apply pressure, you don't want to lean forward too much. Somebody that's good on bottom, that knows what they're doing when they're stuck in side control, will flip you over on your head, and then you'll lose your position. You don't want to sit too far back and keep too much space here, because another flexible person will be able to get in there and then get right back to guard, effectively losing your position. So the delicate balance that you ultimately have to float around with in order to, one, apply pressure in side control, but then also understanding the fundamental points of contact that you really want to drive home. Now, if you really want it to be mean, right, you can drive your shoulder right into the face or the chin to kind of turn their face that way, ultimately applying more pressure to make your side control stronger and more effective. That's a little secret, right? You can do it in training, obviously, with the training partners that you train a little bit harder with, but it's really common in the competition scene, right? Driving that shoulder right into their face, neck area, forces them to look away, and you misalign their spine, making it harder for them to be able to find ways of getting out of the side control. But nonetheless, I think those are most of the points that I ultimately wanted to cover for side control. I hope you guys found this helpful and hope you guys like my way of talking about these specific positions, because I really do love teaching and I really do love Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So my handy dandy friend Jerry here is ultimately super happy. He's telling me that you should like and subscribe and leave a comment or something. I don't know why. I don't know why he's telling me that, but yeah, you really should like and subscribe to this video. Anyways, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. You'll be seeing me and Jerry a lot more. As you can tell, this is a little bit different than what my typical scenario is. I am moving, so I got a lot of moving parts in life at the moment. But go check out my shop. Make sure to check out the written article that is on side control. We have some nuggets of wisdom in there written by a writer that is a blue belt based out of Chicago. His name is Denali. He works really closely with me and has helped me with a lot of the content on my website. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.